This is Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Our number 2 Ready, Set, Bet here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Matt Brown and Mike Somich, channel 158 over on Sirius, YouTube TV, VSiN Watch app, terrestrial stations across this great country of ours. What a good first hour, slamming in all the stuff, even though we don't have a ton going on currently in the sports world, but that's all right. Things will get rolling here pretty soon. The golf tournament's at least going. Cantlay Birdie's won, so he moves within 4 of the lead. Straka, Lowry, Mitchell, Justin Thomas about to go off as well. They just showed him on the range hitting one of those mini drivers, Mike. You know, this is all the rage right now. You know, all the rage, the mini drivers. So he's hitting one of the, I guess he trying to decide if he needs a mini driver today.
Hey, who doesn't need a mini driver?
Yeah. So let's see if that pans out there for Justin Thomas. It would be nice. I do have a pre-flop ticket on him. So to go first round leader and then the actual winner would be a really good way to
be a heck of a scoop.
Yeah, that would be a good way to go with all that. All right, so let's talk some NBA playoffs. We talked about the results from yesterday already. We're heading in now to Boston and New York Knicks. This is 5.5, 6. There is, if you want the Knicks, there is 1.6 left out there in the market at FanDuel. Everybody's sitting 5.5 currently outside of that. Got a total, Mike, anywhere between 208.5 and 209. No 209.5 yet. So 208.5, 209 is our total here in this one. Everybody knows how this has gone so far. The question is did this mentally beat the Celtics already, or does the superior team, at least on paper here, Mike, get things together as they head on the road to the Garden?
You sure feel like the superior team gets things together, right? And the fact that they won a title last year, I think, is important because you face some of that adversity going through the process in the playoffs last year, able to get that done. Now you're taking on a team that you dominated during the regular season that, let's be honest, they drastically outplayed in game 1. They just did not shoot the basketball very well at all. Game 2 is just kind of a rock fight, very odd game. Now you go into game 3 here in the Garden. You're getting a discount on the Celtics off what we saw from the game 1, game 2 prices. It's a must-win game for Boston as well. It's funny. People are out there saying this is a must-win game for the Knicks because they don't want this to end up 2-1. I think this series ends up going back to Boston 2-2. I still have faith in this Celtics team. I talked about looking at Boston to win the NBA title before our show started. Plus 3-1, not quite a big enough number for me, but that was kind of the way I was looking at this. Boston's still a favorite in the series despite being down 0-2. This is Celtics or pass. I expect we're going to get a very good performance for Boston today.
Taking a look here at the resale market for the tickets because they were interesting a couple of days ago. Yeah, I am. What do you think? What do you think we're getting for a courtside seat right now? Well, they're in. Yeah, there's one courtside seat.
I bet the get-in price is over $600 right now, and the first level is over $2,200.
Let's see. Lowest price available at the StubHub currently is $765. So that is the cheapest seat that you can get on the resale market, I should say. If you want to be down by the court, Mike, there is you can get about 10K, like nine and change.
Whoa.
Is
that we're talking like first 3 rows, or are we talking like 100 level?
We're talking, so the row A down on like the floor or whatever, there's an 8,500 plus all the fees and whatever and all the stuff like that. There's a ticket of those. Once you get back a few rows, there's like a 6,500, 6,200. Yeah, there's a couple of $12,000 seats that are available right there. So it is going to be, I mean, dude, $765 for the nosebleeds. This is a hot ticket, as you can imagine.
Yeah, I'm not shocked. Like I said, I was guessing like $650-ish for those nosebleed seats. I'll tell you this much. If I'm a Knicks fan, I'm going to game 4. I'm not going to game 3. I don't want to pay $700 to see my team get blown out by 20, which I think is a highly probable scenario here. Honestly, if I'm on Boston today, if you're playing Boston -5, -6, just glance at the alt lines.
Yeah.
Glance at minus 19.5 for Boston. Look at some of those bigger numbers as well, because I do think if Boston wins this game, they have a decent probability of just running them off the court.
So you kind of stole where I was going with this. I did play the Celtics at 5.5, and then I did also play a 9.5 on them. It's a deal for me where I understand I'm taking nothing away from what the Knicks did, but the fact that you have to come back from giant deficits, Mike, means that you got into giant deficits in the first place, right? And so that is one of the things that I think we have to come to grips with here is, yes, they persevered. Yes, the Celtics weren't able to get it done. Yes, the Celtics missed 45 three-pointers in the first game. I get all these things. I understand all the things that led to where we are right now. However, you still had to come back in games in which you didn't get the A-plus effort here from this Celtic squad. And I think here I understand why would you think they would get it together on the road? It's not necessarily that I think they get it together on the road. It's just they play more like themselves. And so I did lay the 5.5. I took the 9.5 as well with all of that. I think they make a couple more threes than they've done here, Mike. I think they play a little bit better defense. I think there's just all the little things that weren't quite getting it done there in these first ones. In the fourth quarter, it was asinine to me. When you have these big leads, they're running down and putting up bad threes with 20 seconds left on the shot clock and 19 seconds left on the shot clock and all of that. And I'm not saying you get away from who you are necessarily, but there is a little bit of defense to be played with a big lead. And the Celtics just did not do that in both of these games. And so cooler heads prevail to me in this one. Better team ends up winning the deal. And like you said, I think they might could win it at margin.
Yeah, look, this is a Boston team that struggled giving up big leads at home last year, too. I mean, the number of 15, 20-point leads that became close games was shocking last year. We talked about that during their run to the championship as one of the weaknesses. They've been better on the road at not giving up those same leads for some reason, be it the crowd, be it how they're reacting, the expectation they have, if they take their foot off the gas, whatever it is, they have been better on the road at not giving up those big leads. And you got to expect you're going to get a very motivated Celtics team in this game as well. Like, I understand motivation shouldn't be a problem in playoffs, but you do still see certain games where the energy level is just exponentially higher. I expect that from the Celtics today.
So if I like the Celtics, you're going to say, like, why? It seems like counterintuitive here, whatever. Like, I took the under 16.5 PRA on Al Horford. Mike, I don't think you're relying on your 400-year-old center going out to the three-point line and hucking up terrible threes if you're going to win the game and win the game at margin like I need you to here. And so I took the under 16.5 PRA. If you go, look, the dude took 6 shots in game 1 or 7 shots in game 1, 5 of them or 3, missed all of them. Comes back 1 for 5 or 1 for 6 or something. Game 2 from 3. He just goes out and stands at the 3-point line. And then if nobody else can get a shot off, they get it to him. And then he hucks up a bad 3. He might get rebounds. He might get 6 or 7 rebounds. I don't think he hadn't had an assist, by the way, in the series yet. 0 in both games. I don't think he scores double-digit points here in this one. So I took the under Horford 16.5. If you're relying on Horford to give you a big scoring effort here in this one, then you're probably losing anyway. So I'm probably just losing both of these bets, which great. But under 16.5 PRA for Horford for me.
Yeah, I don't mind the PRA look here because his points prop is 7.5. So that would mean that there's 9 rebounds or assists that are built into this. That seems a little aggressive considering he doesn't have an assist in the series, right? So I usually am someone who only will play points props or rebounds props or assist props, not combine the 3. But in this case, I think you're getting a pretty good number considering we're sitting at 7.5 in points.
Minnesota and Golden State is our late game. This is currently 5.5 across the board in favor of Minnesota, 200.5 to 201.5. Okay, there's one book that's so there's a full point difference out there if you want to shop around. So 200.5 to 201.5 here in this one. What do you see as the Wolves head on the road?
I lean toward the Timberwolves here. No Curry again today, which I think makes a big difference. So that I would lay the 5.5. If anything, we should at least throw this out there because a lot of people are going to mention it. Boston and Minnesota on the money line parlay is like plus 105. Mm-hmm. So if you just want to take Boston and Minnesota to win, you can get plus 105 in that. That's going to be a very, 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 very popular bet today. With a lot of people who are betting this, just getting those 2 to win. I'm going to go to a Warriors prop here. Give me Buddy Hield over 14.5 points. And I'm not betting this because we've seen the Buddy Hield offensive explosion, led the series or led game 7 in points, then comes back, leads game 1 in points as well. I'm going with this because of the opportunity. We always talk about player props are all about opportunity and what opportunity is that player getting. Just look at the minutes here. Buddy Hield played 40 minutes in game 1, Matt. Buddy Hield played 29 minutes and 3 quarters in game 2. If this game is close, if it is around that 5.5 number, Buddy Hield's going to play 38 to 40 minutes in this game, and he is going to be the second best option they have offensively. I realize that means you're getting a better defender. It makes it more difficult, but he put up 30 plus in the first game. He put up 15 in the second game. Both of those go over his 14.5 point prop here. And you're getting minus 105 right now on it over as well. Plus you're at home, which I think is an advantage for when you have those or the more role player-ish type guys here. So give me Buddy Hield over 14.5 points in this game.
Question for you. If he gets there, does he get there with anything other than threes? I mean, I guess he could, because the only reason I bring this up is because his 3 prop is 3.5 threes.
See, here's the thing. I think he can. If you've watched what we've seen from him offensively since Steph came out, it is not just, hey, we're going to throw threes up. Okay. He took 9 threes in that game 2 where he got to 15, hit 4 of them. But if you go back to game 1, a lot of his points were getting closer to the rim, were being able to go and drive in and get free throws as well. So I don't think you have to hit those 4 threes to get to 15. Obviously, it helps immensely, but I do like the points prop because I do think he is just more involved offensively.
Guys, ProfitX is a peer-to-peer sports exchange available in 40-plus states out there, so you're making your picks against guys like me and Mike and not against the sports books themselves. So go in, take a look at what ProfitX has to offer. ProfitX today, use the promo code VSiN and earn up to $200 in profit cash over your first month. That is ProfitX code VSiN, VSiN.
Welcome back to Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Ready, Set, Bet here on VSiN. Matt Brown, Mike Somich on a Saturday. Thanks for being with us here, everybody. Hopefully thrown a few bets into your account already. We've talked horses. We've talked baseball. We've talked basketball. We got all the things going on here, Mike. I mean, there's so many bets to have been made already.
Yeah, it's fun when none of these, like, I love having games going, but it's nice not having any pressure, trying to slide the bets in, make sure you get them in the segment before the game starts. We got the full 3 hours to just kind of marinate over these games and get as many in our account as we can.
Yeah, I mean, some NFL news we will hit on a little bit later in the whole Derek Carr retirement thing. So, I mean, we're hitting every single one. We're not talking UFL, though. It's on the TV. We're not talking it. No. I didn't even know.
No, we even talked a little golf, and we got UFC coming up later. A little bit of everything. I was
looking. I had to look up
any softball bets today, Matt.
No, I had to look up like these. I didn't even know if this was live or not. This UFL. I didn't know if we were watching replays or what. I didn't even know what was going on. As big of a football guy as I am, I just can't get there with the UFL. All right, guys, we're gonna get more bets in your account now because joining us here on the Progressive Guest Line, Jonathan Davis. You follow his great work over at our VSiN.com page, in which he goes in and does all of this. I mean, the amount of writing you've done over this NHL season, all we can do. Tip of the cap there. You see him on Sirius XM NHL Radio as well at West Coast. I would say hockey, but it's not. It's HKY. So we're going to go West Coast HKY over in the Twitter machine. He is, in fact, Jonathan Davis. Jonathan, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well. Look, that's the Canadian spelling for hockey, by the way, is HKY. And my condolences to you on your Blues, because that was a real gut punch in Game 7, man. I had St. Louis in round 1. I was not very pleased either.
Mike, why didn't you use that as your excuse for that should have been your excuse for the golf last week?
Well, I mean, because honestly, it wasn't the hockey game. It was the night before. That was the real reason for the golf game going south. But it was an absolute gut punch of a game. Like I was talking about this. For me, this was like top 3 losses as a Blues fan. Number 1 will always be Steve Yzerman in double overtime from the blue line going over John Casey's shoulder, because we could have won the cup that year. The one part about this Blues team, which was honestly the second most fun I've had watching the Blues in about 20 years, because I love this team. was the fact that we would have been hard pressed to actually go much further. Like it would have been tough to beat the Stars and then beat the winner of the Knights and the Oilers. But man, up 3-1 with 2 minutes left, it felt like we were going to get it done.
Yeah, it's been a wacky. I mean, the 2-goal lead in the Stanley Cup playoffs has not been safe for a lot of teams this year.
Jonathan, first game here, Washington and Carolina. You can find as low as minus 230 on Carolina. You can find as high as plus 210 on Washington in this one. 5.5 is our total. How are you looking to play this one?
Well, I mean, look, from a side perspective, to me, it's Washington or pass. It's just too big a price on a Carolina team that really, has been outscored 5-on-5 in the playoffs, 12-11. They're having a tough time scoring goals. Look, goals have been at a premium in this series. So, one thing that's been working out really well is that teams coming off of a loss have scored the first goal of the game in 29 of the 44 games this year. So, I'm going to take Carolina to score the first goal of the game and parlay that with an all total of under 6.5. You get that at plus 140 because for Carolina to score the first goal today, guys, it's minus 160. You could get a better price if you wanted to play, Carolina to score first goal of the first period, but we've already had a 0-0 first period in this series. So I'm going to go for a more conservative way on approaching it.
Yeah, I think Carolina scores first. I took a minus a half goal in the first period, plus 115. I'm expecting Carolina to have, we'd always talk about the first 10 minutes, right? Especially when you're home, especially in game 3 after losing game 2. This is a spot where you expect Carolina to just come out with their hair on fire in Raleigh, which is, by the way, a phenomenally underrated stadium in the NHL as well. They love their hockey down there in Raleigh. Now, long-term in this series, as we stretch further, is this a team, like we're seeing Carolina as a big favorite in the series, a big favorite in this game. You mentioned it's Washington or pass here for the game. Do you have any idea what you want to do with the series perspective here now that we're tied 1-1 going back to Carolina?
I just don't trust the Canes. I mean, like I said, they're struggling to score goals. They struggled, 5-on-5 against New Jersey. I think they were actually outscored 10-9 in that series. So, the better goalies on the Washington side, Freddie Anderson hasn't given up much, but the goals that he's given up haven't been that good. Washington's got the offense, enough offense. They've got, their blue line is really good. They've got to find a way, though, to generate more shots. That's for sure. I mean, they've blocked more shots than they've blocked 65 shots in this series, and the Canes have had 61 shots on goal. Long term, I would still play Washington. I don't trust the Canes. I know Jeff Davis, who handles the big hockey trader over at Circa, loves the Canes. I'm just not with them.
Let's go to the evening hockey here in Vegas and Edmonton. And Jonathan, I'll admit, listen, I'm a hop in, watch hockey during the playoffs and the cup stuff guy. Didn't grow up with hockey, just don't really have a ton of connection to it. So I get overly angry when I see plays like Wah made for Vegas in overtime, where you're sitting there and it's like your team's already reeling, like you need the win so incredibly bad. And then you just give the other team 5 minutes with whatever. And I understand the announcers are like trying to apologize for it. Well, he was just trying to hit him across the chest. And also it's like, but what are we doing at that moment? Why are we doing these things? It seems like some of the dumbest plays are made in the most critical moments in hockey. What am I missing here?
Well, I don't know. There's some feeling that he was actually, in a weird way, trying to play the puck. I don't know. It was reckless, not malicious. I mean, and Nick Waugh is not that type of player. He's someone that Vegas has counted on, throughout his time with the Golden Knights. It was just, it was weird. It was very bizarre. Now, in saying that, they killed off the 5-minute penalty, and Vegas is still, they were very frustrated because 17 seconds before the goal, the Oilers should have had a 2-minute penalty, on them. But at the end of the day, look, Vegas should never have let that game go to overtime. They outchanced, I thought, Edmonton. They, throughout the game, they just, they came up a goal short. And now they go into Edmonton. And look, we got big news in this game because Calvin Pickard, who has the Oilers on a 6-game win streak, got hurt in the third period when one of his players pushed Thomas Hertl of the Knights onto him, hurt his left leg. He is not going tonight. So Stuart Skinner comes back into the net for Edmonton. Skinner not very good in the first 2 games against LA. So again, the approach for me tonight, Vegas to score the first goal. I liked him to score in the first period as well. And I think it's a big game for Jack Eichel. He did his best to try to get this team on his back in game number 2. He had 3 points in game number 2. I could even see Jack scoring first goal of the first period tonight as well. So I don't know if Vegas wins the game, but the first period over is another one it's cashed in all but one game for Vegas in the playoffs, and that was game 2 of the series. I took over 1.5 in the first and parlayed that with over 5.5 and got that at a plus price because, every game in Edmonton has gone over in the playoffs. This series has been, primarily it's been an over series. So that's the way. I'm not going to take a side. I will take the total and the first period over.
Yeah, Vegas was a phenomenal first period over team last year during the playoffs as well. So not shocked we're seeing that trend continue here this year. Now, Matt and I were talking about this game a little bit earlier, and I was hoping I was going to get Vegas at like the plus 125, plus 130 price. If to me, this is a must-win spot. I thought you hopefully would get a nice plus number because they're on the road. We're sitting here at minus 114 on the Oilers. It almost makes me want to bet the Oilers side because it feels like there's a discount with the goalie change. Are you surprised by the pricing? I realize you don't have a pick on the side, but you surprised it's just 114 right now on the Oilers?
A little, but I mean, it's been, I don't know. Look, game 2 again was one that Vegas, I thought, dominated and came up short. And so I think, look, hockey lines are kind of weird. Like last night, that Florida game, yes, the Panthers won, but at the end of the day, it was a coin flip. And they shouldn't have been, minus 230, 240 in that one. So I don't take a lot of stock in a lot of the line moves in hockey as I would in football or basketball. I think that people are just looking at Skinner. There's less confidence in Skinner. And look, Calvin Pickard has given up, I think, at least 3 goals in 4 of the 6 games that he played. So, he's given up 1 goal less than the opposition in most cases. So I'm not totally shocked by it. And guys, one other approach that I would take for these games is I would play both teams in many cases to score an empty net goal because you can get really good plus money and you're going to come out ahead if you play both teams to score an empty net. Sometimes that's better than playing both teams maybe even on the reverse puck line.
I absolutely love that bet. That's going to go into I see fun bets are fun for me here in hockey. So I'll do that one, Jonathan Davis. And by the way, other plays up at VSiN.com. So go over and read his article over there again on the Twitter machine at West Coast HKY. He is Jonathan Davis. Appreciate the time today, buddy, and good luck.
Always a pleasure, guys. Take care. Have a great rest of your day. Good luck with all your bets.
See, we get through that without a single poutine or ketchup chip reference right there, Mike. It was fantastic.
Look at us.
Have you had ketchup chips before?
I have had ketchup chips before. I spent quite a bit of time in Canada, so I've experienced the Canadian culture up there.
And by the way, poutine's legit. I know people we make fun of. Poutine's legit. No? Really? Fries and cheese and gravy? Major League Baseball when we come back.
I'm not a big gravy guy.
Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Ready, Set, Bet here on VSiN. Matt Brown, Mike Somich coming to you on a Saturday. Just had a great conversation with Jonathan Davis talking all things hockey. By the way, several more bets over on VSiN.com of his if you want to go in and get the breakdown over there. So again, VSiN.com. If you're not a pro subscriber, VSiN.com/subscribe. Running all kinds of specials right now. Go in and take advantage of that. Mike, we should have known because, the internet wizards are always a step ahead of us or whatever. And so we're thinking we're on to something. Someone in the farm system's got to be named Pope or Leo or whatever and all of this. We're talking about, jersey. Of course, someone's already mocked up a jersey. It's amazing. It would sell like hotcakes because what else is there to be excited about right now if you're a White Sox fan? This is what you're excited about. This is it. And if they make these, I know this is probably AI generated or something, but if they actually put these out on the market, Mike, this is the best thing to happen to the White Sox in 2025.
Yeah, it's a Vatican City themed jersey. So gold and kind of a creamish white, right? With the Chicago cross, got the Sox little Vatican logo up in the top corner. Just wear these every Sunday. Every Sunday you're at home, Chicago, just wear these uniforms. It would be easily the best seller that you get from any White Sox jersey. And I guarantee you get a lot of people that end up dropping some coin on the Pope jersey here.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, again, when you're the White Sox and you're sitting here and you're fielding a team each and every day that goes out and knows that very high likelihood that you're going to get your brains beat in, at least you're wearing a really cool jersey while it's happening, right, Mike?
Right? I mean, like, look,
they won 11
it is
games
a marketing opportunity. Get in on it. Make it happen.
You've only been happy 11 times this year. You've been disappointed 28 times. But instead, you put on that jersey and you're happy every single day. It doesn't matter.
There you go. You could say they've been happy 12 times because the Pope is a White Sox fan. So that's an extra happy time, even though they didn't win a game there.
At least a half a time. 11 and a half. We'll take the
at
over.
Least a half.
Yeah, we'll take the over on 11 and a half times that they've been happy so far this year. Major League Baseball slate continues on. A big slate today, unfortunately, in which none of them are going to get going while we are on the air. But do want to talk about, the Phillies and the Guardians, a fairly interesting game here in which Ranger Suarez is going up against Tanner Bybee. This is 135 Phillies on the road, 114 plus 114 Guardians at home as dogs. 8 is the number here. On paper, Mike, this should be a really good pitching matchup. It's just Bybee's been kind of up and down. He was a guy coming into the season where everybody was on the fence. People had strong opinions one way or the other, or they were kind of like, flip a coin with this dude. Like everyone's, he sucks. He's not as good as everyone thinks. Oh no, this guy's on the up and up. Bybee could be like the one of these surprise guys for the year. And the other people were kind of like, you know what? He might just be average. Like he might not be a dude one way or the other. Like we seem to want to make people either good or bad. And instead it's like, he might just be somewhere in the middle. And maybe that's where Bybee is. Suarez, on the other hand, has definitely been better than he has been worse.
Yes, he has been better than he's been worse. Only he's not having full season or full complement so far in the season. Came back from injury a little bit. Bybee was the one I looked at here if I was going to bet this game. So I went back and forth on taking under on his outs prop. It's 15.5 right now. Honestly, if it was 16.5, I probably would have played the under, Matt. But the 15.5 number scares me just a little bit. I wanted to see if they'd make him go further. He's only gone 5+ innings in 2 of his games so far this season. So the under does look good from that perspective. But both those games were at home, and one of them against the Yankees lineup, which is pretty good. So I've stared at that Tanner Bybee under 15.5 outs prop for a long time. I couldn't quite get there and click the button, but he hasn't been throwing only one outing with 100 pitches. He's thrown in the 80s, multiple outings from a pitch perspective. I leaned toward the under, but I couldn't get into the account.
If you want a fun game to watch, not saying it's going to be fun because there's going to be a ton of scoring or anything, but 2 guys on the hill, and Jacob deGrom and Jack Flaherty, that could be fun to watch today as the Rangers head on the road to the Tigers. This is about a coin flip, a little bit shaded towards the home Tigers. 7.5 is our total, vastly shaded towards the under here in this one. And Mike, look, with deGrom, we talked about this heading into the season, and he told us before coming in, and he's lived up to the fact that he's like, hey, I'm not going to go out and try to throw 100. And he's not. He's actually averaging somewhere in kind of like that mid 96 to low 97 range with his fastball, but it's working so far. I mean, like deGrom has been good. He just hasn't been, the guy that's going out there and racking up, 9, 10, 11 strikeouts per game like we saw back in the day. But he's been good. I understand why even on the road, they're getting the look here in this one. I think I could only go the Rangers. But the fact is both these teams just don't hit enough for me. And so it's going to be a pass.
Yeah, I would be Tigers or pass at this point. I agree with you on deGrom. He's dialed back the velocity there and has been pitching much better than just throwing the ball, right? But you look at the other side, and Flaherty, he's been very good this year as well. And right now, the Tigers are tied for the best record in baseball with the Los Angeles Dodgers at 26-13. One of the best plus minuses in baseball. They've won 8 straight. This is a Tigers team that's just played very, very well. Now, caveat. There was a sweep of the Rockies in there. So that's not as impressive when you include those 3 games, but still a very good Tigers team right now. I don't trust this lineup long term. It's why I can't get behind the Tigers when they are a short favorite here. We've talked about this Tigers team a lot, Matt. When it's plus money, I'm interested. when I'm laying something, I just can't get there, especially when it's DeGrom on the other side. So pass for me, but it'd be the Tigers if anything here.
Just keep on winning, Tigers, because I got that division ticket on you. So just keep going. That's fine. Just keep on winning. But the pitching matchup of the day is actually happening in Kansas City. This is the Red Sox on the road at the Royals. Garrett Crochet and Cole Ragans is going to give us a flat 7 as your total here, and that is not shaded towards the over or under. This is about a coin flip as well, 118 to 102 on the line out there, Red Sox and Royals. I will watch this one. I'm actually very hyped to watch this one, Mike, but I can't get a bet into the account with two studs on the hill.
I did get one in the account. I went with the Royals first 5 here. Give me the Royals first 5. You
don't like Crochet,
as good as minus.
You don't like Crochet. Just admit it. You don't like Crochet. I know, you don't like Crochet.
I haven't liked Crochet for a while. I had him over last weekend. That cashed. I don't think that Crochet is as good as what everyone believes he is, what the market believes he is. And if you look at his underlying stats, his ERA is not as good as what his current ERA is. His xERA almost a run and a half higher than what his current ERA is. On the other hand, Reagan's just as good on all the underlying numbers as his actual numbers. I think you've got a better pitcher here in Kansas City. I think Crochet is still being overbet by the market. By the way, there's turmoil right now in the Boston clubhouse, and the Royals are 9-1 in their last 10, including 7 in a row. Give me the Royals here first 5.
Yeah, his underlying numbers are it's still a 3.26 like X. I mean, come on, it's very good.
I realize that, but Reagan's is just everything matches up with Reagan's, and Reagan's is as low as Crochet from an ERA perspective.
Yes, I'll take a 29% K rate. I'll put it that way. I mean, like, you give me a 29% K rate, I'll take it every day of the week.
He's a fake ace.
I like that you're going in and you're going to back. Oh, no, you were playing against McCullers here. This is a good one because, as we know, this is where this dude struggles and has struggled and has continued to struggle even when he came off the IL here.
Yeah, well, I had McCullers last week against that terrible White Sox team. He was able to cash first 5 for us, but man, it was sweaty because he kept walking people. That's been his issue his entire career. He's facing the Reds today, 11th in walk rate when facing righties. I'm going to go with 3+ walks, Matt, and plus money here. Yeah. I think he's going to give away a ton of bases on balls. He did walk 3 in his previous outing and get plus 135 here on McCullers 3+ walks. You can lay 220 on 2+. So the number, that 2.5 is clearly a dividing point here, but I expect McCullers to throw more pitches in this game than he did in his first start off the DL. I expect that you're going to see him still have control issues, and the Reds, as I said, a top 12 team in walk rate against righty pitchers. So give me McCullers over 3 walks here, plus 135.
Yeah, it's like the only problem is just the Reds. Like, that's about, the only problem is the Reds.
Yeah, they do walk, like, again, they're 11th in the NL or 11th in the majors on a walk for walks against righties. So they do at least walk more than the average team.
Yes. They'll also just swing at everything sometimes. So, like, God, I hate that team so much. Marlins and the White Sox. How in the hell did you end up on a bet in this game?
Because both of these pitchers, like, again, we're deep enough in the season where I'm looking at xERA. Both of these pitchers' ERA is significantly lower than what their xERA is. It's almost a two-run gap for both of them. The total's at 8. I made this total 8.75. I'll take a flyer on the over with two offenses that don't love to hit or score runs here. Give me Marlins White Sox over 8.
I don't even know. Like, that's one of those games where I just like skip whenever I'm going through. So good on.
Like, I'm not even looking at the numbers.
Yeah, good on you that you found a bet there in that one. Of course, we will always try and find bets in all of these games. I actually do like something the Giants and Twins. We'll talk about that one a little bit later here. But guys, you know it, you love it. Over at the site, head on over there, VSiN.com, betting splits page. Yep, you get the stuff from Circa, you get the stuff from DraftKings. You go in. You can see if there's anything that matches up, see if there's a big contrast between the two different books, and maybe that leads you one way or another, at least breaks a tie of some sort. VSiN.com/subscribe. And if you want to just give us a try, if you're not willing to commit to that full year yet, which, by the way, you get 14 months instead, we'll give you the first month for as low as $9.99. VSiN.com/subscribe.
Welcome back to Ready Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Matt Brown, Mike Somich here on Ready, Set, Bet, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Over at the Truist, birdie on 1, birdie on 2, and Shane Lowry moves into a tie with Keith Mitchell. Mitchell also birdied 2, so they are sitting 13 under, 3 strokes clear of Sepp Straka, who is even through the first 3 holes. Cam Young, 5 under on the day, so kind of coming out of nowhere for him to move up to solo 4th. Nick Taylor is 3 under, as is Sung J M. Patrick Cantlay is 1 under, as is Akshay Bhatia and Rory McIlroy and Colin Morikawa, and they are all in a T5 right now at 8 under. So a little off the lead there, Mike, but again, some huge names coming after Keith Mitchell and Shane Lowry up there at the top.
Yeah, loaded leaderboard. We see that in these elevated events. You're going to get better golfers chasing the leaders, and that's what we've got set up here. It's going to be tough for Mitchell to hang on there. Lowry, I think, is a little bit interesting. You mentioned he was plus 300 to start the day. Mm-hmm. You got to like his position right now. Yeah,
I mean, he's definitely, in my opinion, my model loved him this week. I don't know why I shied away. I think there was just a little bit of a depressed price on him for me that didn't get me onto Lowry, but definitely fit this type of course the way that I thought it was going to play. This was a guessing game, right? So this course is not on tour regularly, so we just kind of had to guess how it was going to play. Obviously, we've never seen him play here before, so the way that I thought it was going to play out, I thought Shane Lowry would fit it pretty well, and at least so far so good. 64 round 1, 65 round 2, and is 2 under through 2 as we start the day today.
Pretty good. Pretty good to go 64, 65 and then have it looks like another shot at shooting 60s again.
All kinds of things going on out there in the sports world. We take those stories and decide whether they're good or bad.
Is it good news?
I got great news, guys.
Or is it bad news?
What type of news is it? Well, to be perfectly frank, it's bad.
All right, Mike, so we're calling an audible here. This was not in the original rundown. We didn't know it was going to happen. We walk into the studio and Derek Carr for the New Orleans Saints has retired. Apparently went in, and we knew that there was stuff going on with his shoulder. They told us this before the draft even. So we expected the Saints to try to look at the quarterback position. They did. They didn't do it as early as maybe we thought. They do it a little bit later. And basically the rehab wasn't working, Mike. And so Carr didn't want to go through another procedure. He was going to have to sit out 2025 as it was anyway. And he said, you know what? Hey, I'm going to call it a career. Made a ton of money. Good on him. Unfortunately, never got a playoff win over the course of his career. But now we get this for this New Orleans Saints team. And I guess the question becomes, is this a good thing or a bad thing? My initial take, it's a good thing because, hey, whoever they throw out there is probably going to lose a whole bunch of games. And maybe the Saints were playing 4D chess when we thought they were playing checkers in all of this, because why didn't they take a quarterback early on? Why didn't they trade back in and take a quarterback? Why? Well, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, because the quarterback class next year is just way better. And so maybe that's what they were looking at all along.
Yeah, look, this is a Saints team that had a lot of holes, right? It wasn't just the quarterback position. There are issues up and down this lineup. So for them, for Derek Carr to retire, I don't think is a bad thing at all. Like it gets you out from underneath the Derek Carr of it all inside the locker room. You don't have to worry about him rehabbing and coming back in 2026. And so it just kind of clears the books, right? And you're able to move on from Derek Carr in a very clean fashion. You look at this team, losing for them is not a bad thing, right? You mentioned the quarterback class last year. They have a very good chance of getting a high pick. The division is still not where it's not one of the tougher divisions in football. You're able to make quick turnarounds inside that division. So for them to be able to just kind of clear the room out and say, all right, let's start over here. Let's go through this full rebuild and let's do it with a much better quarterback class next year, assuming that, that they didn't hit this year. It allows you to kind of properly analyze the overall situation and make decisions moving forward. So obviously terrible news for Derek Carr. But I think the Saints organization is sitting there saying, hey, wait, this is kind of a good thing for us because we can just sweep the floors and figure it out from there.
So this does lead me to a couple of different things when it comes to the NFL and the betting side of things, Mike. I mean, I think they are a very real contender for fewest wins in the NFL. Mm-hmm. I think no matter what the number comes out at, even though this is a fairly weak division, I think it's an under bet unless they just put out a historically low number on this Saints team. We're getting Adam Schefter saying that, they're going to rotate all 3 quarterbacks through camp. trying to figure out who's the best. So we don't really know who's going to be their starter there in week one. My guess would be whoever, they're going to rotate all three, Mike, to find out who the worst one is, and then that's going to be your starter. Whoever's good is not going to be your starter because, again, you're looking at a quarterback class in which if you look at these early mocks, there are 4 or 5 first-round graded guys currently right now, and they're saying could get as many as 6 depending on the play of some of these guys over the course of the season. And so I know that doesn't always play out. We thought Quinn Ewers was going to be a first-rounder. However, there was only a couple of guys we thought were going to be first-round graded quarterbacks coming into this year as it was anyway. If we're talking 6 or 7 dudes, even if only 4 or 5 of them hit, Mike, I mean, that is still a lot for the Saints to choose from at the top of the draft. And so I cannot imagine that this team isn't looking at, if it's not a full-blown reset rebuild, it's at least a soft reset rebuild. And I think you're looking at maybe Alvin Kamara getting moved sometime over the next few weeks. Like what point do you have in keeping him on the roster if you're just going to go out and try to lose games as it is anyway? I think this could be the worst team in the NFL.
Well, right now you're getting plus 500 if you want to take least wins. Their win total is off the board, but the least wins in the NFL, you can get the Saints at plus 500. The favorite in that category, the Cleveland Browns at plus 475, Giants plus 650, and the Jets plus 850. Plus 500 doesn't seem like a bad price. It feels like they should be the favorites after this news because we know they are going to have issues at the quarterback spot. Yes, the Browns do as well, but if you compare the Browns roster from 2 through 52 versus the Saints roster from 2 through 52, the Browns roster is significantly better. Obviously in a tougher division. We'll have the schedules coming out here shortly. Matt, we're going to be doing the schedule release show on Wednesday. So looking forward to that.
Nice plug, buddy. Well done. There we go.
Just trying. You know, we'll be on for 4 hours on Wednesday when we get these actual schedules, going through everything, getting our win total bets in early, looking at the specific spots which are good or bad for certain teams. And this Saints schedule is one I'm going to take a look at, Matt, because like you said, I do like them toward the under, depending on what this number gets put up at. But least wins the NFL at plus 500. They have a very bad roster, and now they don't have a quarterback either.
So what this also did was shake up the Rookie of the Year market, in which Tyler Shook now moved to 10-1. So it is Genty at plus 230, Ward at 330, Hunter at 10-1, Hampton at 10-1, and now Shook at 10-1 as far as Rookie of the Year. So the market just assuming that he is going to win the starting job. I'm not so sure about that, Mike, just to be honest with you. Like, here's the other problem, and I'm not trying to do this deal of where I think the Saints really have this grand master plan, and we're talking some sort of, crazy, they're going to pull the curtain back and see this whiteboard that they had it planned all along, like Usual Suspects or something, and we're going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe this is what they were doing. But I don't think you want to put Shook out there early. What if he's awesome? What if he's good? And then now you find yourself in the dilemma that he actually plays decently, but not good enough to win games. And then you're at the top of the draft and you have to do this whole thing of well, he played good. Do we really go and draft this guy or whatever, blah, blah. I don't know. I don't think it's a given that he's going to start week one.
I don't think it's a given. I also think that this number is just way too low at this point, right? I mean, Dustin Sweelson got 60-1 on draft night. Tim Murray got 22-1 when the news broke this morning. Now you're sitting at 10-1. That number is just too low on Shook, right? Especially when you still have Shedeur Sanders sitting at 28-1. When you have Jackson Dart at 35-1. There are other rookie quarterbacks I'd rather throw a flyer in than the starter and possible starter in New Orleans who look, we talked about this last year. You get 17 games as a starting quarterback. You want to have a ticket on them. 10-1's too low for me to want to have a ticket on Shook here.
And here's the other thing. Dylan Gabriel still sitting out there at massive numbers, right? And Mike, okay, if he starts week one, you'll hate yourself. You don't have the 10-1. If he doesn't start week one, if they name one of the other guys the starter, we've seen these markets react instantly to news. You are going to get a better number than 10-1. I think there's well over a coin flip chance that he doesn't start week one. And so, honestly, at this point, you can't make this bet, right? It's just, you cannot make this bet because you're getting a better than a coin flip chance that you're going to get a better number once they get through camp.
Well, and last year we were advocating for Bo Nix at 16-1 when we knew he was going to start, right? And now you're getting 10-1 on a person you don't know is definitely going to start, which, by the way, also for a worse roster, right? So to me, there's other issues around Shook as well. Even if he starts 17 games, if Shedeur does, if Cam Ward does, I'm not sure he wins the award. And then you also have Genti there, who's the running back from Vegas, who's supposed to have a huge year. He's top 10 in fantasy drafts right now. To me, the 10-1's too short.
Yeah.
This would have to be like 25-1 for me to want to bet it.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Genti, and just to kind of like put a bow on this market in general, I think the number's probably right on him. He might lead the league in carries. I mean, like this is, they got him for a reason, Mike, and we know what Pete Carroll loves to do. Pete Carroll wants to run the football.
Run the ball.
Yeah. I mean, he might average 25 carries a game. Like literally, this guy might average 25 carries a game. And so I think the number's correct for him, but we know one of these quarterbacks blows up, it's going to go to one of these quarterbacks. We know how this all works. Hour number 3, Ready, Set, Bet. When we come back here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.